Oh,
Go
hey,
ahead,
welcome
Lisa. Go
everybody.
ahead.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Lisa Parento, beautiful Cape Cod, your 2021 New England Region President. So excited about today's session. I cannot wait to hear everything about what William Tong has to say. But hey, Nora, I'd love to introduce Nora Lynch, who is our education chair and the one that organized this morning. But I would be remiss if I didn't also mention and thank Christine McClellan, our CTO at the New England Region leadership team. Nora, please take it away. Very excited. We only have 30 minutes and we got way more than 30 minutes of content.
Okay, great. So I'm so pleased to introduce William Tong, or Will Tong. And William right now is in Taiwan, heading back to LA. He was supposed to be there today, but he'll get there in the next week. My son actually just left for LA today, too, after 5 months of being home. So I'm a little melancholy. So I'm going to tell you, I met William, and William, you can interject anytime. I met William a couple of years ago at a CRS conference, the national one. I believe it was in Dallas, and you were so friendly and so welcoming. We were having little mini groups there. And so we stayed in touch through Facebook. And a couple months later, I was in LA, and you said, I'm gonna meet you in Santa Monica and take you out to lunch. And we did, and you even got me on a scooter. So William is the real deal. And William, I'm gonna let you go on about your brokerage and how long you've been in the business, the area you cover, and then why are you in Taiwan too? So take it away, William.
Hey, your absolute pleasure. You rode that scooter like a champ, like a pro. I had no idea it was your first time. It was awesome. It is so great to meet you. I'm a broker. I'm going to my 10th year, 10th, 11th year as a broker in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, north and east of there, San Gabriel Valley. I call it the Chinese food areas. So if any of you all are ever in San Gabriel Valley, we can grab some Chinese food, or I could pop over to Santa Monica or wherever you're at. And I run a boutique brokerage. We have a team of 10. Just very grateful to be in a space where we have flexibility over the clients that we serve. And real estate just gives us so much freedom. And just as an industry, to have CRS, to have the community that we do coming together to really uplift each other with education and good practices is something that I always appreciate. So if there's anything that I can do to contribute to the community, I'm always down, just to give back for all that's been given to me.
Great. So, William, I'm going to ask a couple of questions, and I don't even have these, but I have so many in my head because I've been addicted to Clubhouse the last month or two. So, here we go. So, William, you have, I think, over 50,000 followers on Clubhouse, which is saying a lot. You cannot really buy followers, I don't think, on Clubhouse yet. So, and you've been a leader. Like, when did you start going into Clubhouse? And actually, let me go back a second. Can you explain to somebody what Clubhouse is? What's your explanation of Clubhouse, first of all?
The best way I can explain Clubhouse is it's kind of like a living LinkedIn. It's like if you're able to take a whole bunch of people that are super awesome in their own right, put them into one place, one room, as they call it, and give them a chance to have conversations that are wholly organic and just kind of build off of each other. And it's just absolutely an incredible, incredible experience. Some people think of it as a podcast, but a podcast is actually not what the Clubhouse founders are going for because a podcast is too static. You just have two, three like voices that are going down a really fixed path, and there's recording and you can change it a little bit, but there's not a lot of ways to deviate the conversation. Whereas in terms of Clubhouse, you may have someone who's an expert in real estate, and then next thing you know, someone pops in that's an architect, and then someone pops in that's a musician that's really famous, and then someone pops in that's really a thought leader in the cryptocurrency space. And now you have someone that pops in that's a government official, maybe a senator or a congressman, and then you have someone that pops in that just really likes gardening, and then now all of a sudden you have a conversation mixing all of these different specialties. And it's absolutely incredible some of the collaborations I've seen. I've been able to meet a lot of super cool people. And you can actually buy followers now, which is something that's interesting to me.
Hmm.
But the thing is, like, the truth of Clubhouse is that it's not about the number of people that follow you. Just like other social media platforms that can be considered a vanity metric. But in terms of the utility of Clubhouse, the number of people that stay connected to you and that you connect with, it affects from a very base level how many people are able to populate the rooms that you open. So it determines how large your community is. So if, for example, people are buying followers, it just doesn't really make any sense because when they open up rooms and no one shows up because the followers are all bots or whatever it is, then it just makes it look like you don't really have that much to say. So it really dilutes your message to buy followers.
Okay, so the other thing, just to point out for people that don't know Clubhouse at all, it is audio only. So we don't have to, get all gussied up and do a Zoom call like right now. It's audio only, and you have a stage with people that are the moderators or people that are invited up if you raise your hand or if you're called on. And otherwise, you can be listening to it like a radio show too. Just like listen to people talk, and it could go on for hours, right? So when did you start Clubhouse, William? And what drew you to it? Who invited you in, so to speak? Because it's also
I, s-
invitation only.
I started December 11th or December 12th, something like that. I'd read about it in a Facebook group, and I was like, oh, what is this? This sounds really interesting. I downloaded the app. It was invitation only. I'm super grateful that a friend that I had met 10 years ago became very involved in the startup and tech space, and then he had actually brought me into the app. There's someone else that started at the same time, and then he wasn't let into the app until 2 months later. So it really is dependent on who you know, and it still is an exclusive app. So it's super awesome that Nora, that you're super connected to people in Clubhouse, because you can provide a bridge to a lot of people into the Clubhouse communities. And those of you that just saw my finger just now, I'm not used to Zoom, so I haven't used it in quite a while. I was trying to adjust the brightness on here, so apologize for for
No,
that.
that's okay.
Um,
So what exactly? So I've been on it for a couple of months. It's actually replaced my love of TikTok, because TikTok I would just it's an interesting, you learn a lot. So I'm learning so much. And as far as you're in two spaces, really, you're definitely in the real estate. Do you have a club that you started within Clubhouse? Are you in charge of any of those clubs, or you're just popping in and out? Because I see you a lot on Clubhouse, which is awesome.
Absolutely, Nora. Thank you so much for the mention. So when I first came into Clubhouse, there wasn't really a space for real estate agents and brokers and investors. It was mostly a lot of people talking about wholesaling, because at the time, a lot of people were pitching their wholesaling courses and coaching, or they were in real estate, but they weren't really in real estate investing or as realtors or brokers. They basically were trying to pitch a lot of different things to realtors, which is kind of like what's tried and true for our industry forever. People just want to try and get our money. So there wasn't a really pure space. So me and some other realtors, we basically created the real estate networking club, and we always just try and keep it super pure. There's no soliciting, there's no pitching that's in there. We just want it to be really about the industry, share best practices, figure out how we can have better virtual open houses, have better marketing, have better social media mastery. Just talk about how it is we can be much better for our clients, so we can get better results. So it's quickly become one of the fastest growing real estate agent and broker clubs. We are over 20,000 members and followers at this point. It's also been an excellent use of just community building, because we have rapidly built up one of the strongest communities inside of Clubhouse for real estate agents and brokers and investors. And in the first week and a half that we had the rooms running, we had, I think we had like over 30 or 40 agent to agent referrals. And those of you that have hung out in the real estate networking club, you've seen in real time the referrals happen. And the biggest one that we've had up to date was this development project near Atlanta, Georgia. And the summation of the project is going to be about $40 million. And this was a referral that happened right inside of the room. It happened in real time. Someone popped in that had land, wanted to know how to develop it. There's another broker that was there, new investors and developers. The connection was made, and now they're working on it. And on top of that, I was able, they use this word ping, which is to invite people in. I invited in someone who's actually a venture capitalist who's connected with real estate investors. So in that moment, right there in time, we brought together three major pieces, and now they're just connected right there. And a lot of the people that do moderate the rooms, they have gotten 1, 2, 3, 5 agent referrals. One guy has gotten over $3 million worth of referrals just in 2 months' time. So it's just a hyper acceleration of rapport building and just getting to know each other. But at the same time, some people have been in there for months and they haven't gotten a single agent to agent referral. But the value that they've gotten in terms of the knowledge and the expertise and the friendships is worth way, way more than the referrals. And we honestly just stopped tracking the referrals after a little bit, because it didn't make any sense. And a lot of the referrals happened in the DMs. So the best way I can explain Clubhouse is that it's a way for you to interact with people from all over the world, not just the United States, and share knowledge about real estate, share knowledge about the industry, but also get the truth. Because if you're looking at YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, you don't really know what's real. A lot of it is manufactured, it's edited, it's highly produced, especially in 2020 going to 2021. People pay so much money to make themselves look like really amazing. And some people are super, super amazing. It's not that they aren't. It's just that in terms of keeping up with the Joneses, people have to go into these higher production type vehicles. Whereas Clubhouse is all voice. Like you don't have to shave, you don't have to get dolled up. It's just you just have to be you, just genuinely you, and people are going to love you for you. You're going to find your own tribe. You're going to find your own community. People are going to refer business to you because they really dig your vibe. They dig who you are. If you're introverted or if you're shy, you can come up to the room. You can start introducing yourself. You can meet people, talk to people. If you get too nervous, there's a little button that says leave quietly. You can tap it, and then now you're back into your own life. As opposed to going to like a conference and you kind of like, because I'm an introvert, and you just kind of stand there awkwardly and you're not sure who to talk to, who to interact with, and you just kind of have to like walk awkwardly out the door. But like no one notices you, no one thinks that you're walking awkwardly. But sometimes in our own minds, we just feel super awkward. And that's absolutely the beauty of Clubhouse is that it takes all of those things out of the picture. You just from a super pure level, talk to people, get to know them, and build a lot of rapport.
I know it's been great. And when you say DM, one of the features on Clubhouse is people can't, you have to link or you choose to link your either your Instagram or your Twitter account. So then people will DM you, direct message you through one of those two aspects. I know, and William, we talked about this on Clubhouse. I think it was last night. Can't keep track. I believe that in the next 2 weeks, so let's just say 30 days, that they are working on having another LinkedIn be the other way that you can connect. So that is really exciting. And I can tell you personally, I want to talk to you, but personally, I've connected with some very wonderful, fabulous women, very connected in commercial space and also residential space. It's just been amazing connections that I've been able to make. So William, so you've been in Taiwan. How long have you been in Taiwan? And also, what is the most, I think you've had some famous people that you've been moderating in your rooms. Do tell.
For sure, Nora. I came to Taiwan December 28th, 2 days before the country shut down to international travel. We came in just because in Los Angeles, COVID was just getting super, super sketch. The way that at the time the city was being run, it was not conducive to it. Cases were skyrocketing. I have a baby. At the time, the baby was a little over a year old. So we just really wanted to make sure that the baby was safe. It was stressing out my wife way too much. And Taiwan has had 0 cases of COVID inside of the country. All of the COVID cases came from people coming in from other countries, which is why they shut it down. And I've been running my team remotely. And as things are chilling down in Los Angeles, and as things are ramping up in the industry, it is definitely time to go back, make sure everything is in place. But because of everything I've learned in Clubhouse, everything is hyper accelerated. Nora, you've mentioned some of the people that I've shared stages with. Those of you that have been inside of Clubhouse have seen me on stage with some really amazing people. I'll mention some names in a bit. I don't normally mention names, but in this case, I'll mention the names because they have their own things that they're trying to pitch, their own platforms. So I use this as an opportunity to highlight them as well. But the most important thing in terms of like the connection building and what I value more than anything else is not so much the names of the people that I've met that other people know, but like a lot of the people that are on this call, for me to meet you in a really organic manner in Clubhouse and for me to become friends with you and have connections, business or personal or otherwise, that to me has more value than meeting people that are well known on other platforms. These genuine connections, these genuine friendships that I've developed as a part of being in Clubhouse has just been amazing to me. When I came into Clubhouse in December, I had 375 Instagram followers. I had 3 Twitter followers. Now I have over 8,200 Instagram followers. I have over 1,000 something Twitter followers. It just has really accelerated the growth of my social media channels. And if you look at my social media, it's terrible. My Instagram is like, I only had 4 posts like in the course of 5 years. I put up my 5th post. It was terrible. It wasn't cropped right. The
And you
words
just
are
did
cut
a
off.
reel. You just did a reel. Everybody noticed that too, but go ahead. So
You're right. No, I don't even know what it's called. I just did a video. People are like, William, you got to do a video. So like if you look at my Instagram at GLIFI, my 4th post is just a text post, terribly cropped, but I have like over like 600 likes or 300 something like that likes on that post, and these are real organic people that I've met inside of Clubhouse and built friendships with. I would have to go to 1,000 conferences and meet people from a very one-on-one level to be able to have anything close to it. So for someone who's a realtor where connections really matter, your network is your net worth, but only if you use it, to come into Clubhouse and then make all these connections is amazing. So one person that I've become, Clubhouse friends with is Grant Cardone. He has a massive real estate platform. He's raising funds across his different channels. I've shared many stages with him. He's actually now coming into EXP. He met through Clubhouse Glenn Sanford, the founder of EXP Realty. And then different people will have different thoughts of the different brokerages. But as we always say in the Real Estate Networking Club, we are really brand agnostic, because regardless of what brand it is, as we all know, you in one brand could be really strong, really awesome in one market, but in another market, just honestly maybe not have the same quality. And it really comes down to the individual managing brokers, the individual team, the individual culture of each office, because a lot of brokerages are independently owned and operated. So that's why we say we're brand agnostic, because although people may love the brand in the city they're in, it might just not be well run in a different city. So but that's a case study. Like, where else can Grant Cardone meet Glenn Sanford, and then I'm literally on stage with them at the same time, watching them put this deal together in real time. Just absolutely incredible. And then, although I'm not political, I haven't been super involved in politics. Andrew Yang, who's currently running for the mayor of New York City, his campaign contact reached out to me, and then I'm helping Andrew Yang's campaign get more exposure through Clubhouse. So you told me, William, hey, I want you to use this app for 3 months, and then now you're gonna, really get to know Grant Cardone and Andrew Yang, and it's approaching 1 a.m. for me, but it was super important for me to be on this call, because Nora, you are very, very important to me, and your community is very important. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I was on for this. So please
Thank
forgive
you.
me if I'm a
You're spot
little
on. Well, you're doing awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I know, and just because you are involved in this space too, and hey, we might be selling real estate with Bitcoin one of these days. I know you're involved with NFT/Bitcoin. Do you have any like little piece, and people can ask questions or raise their hand, and we'll call on you. So if you want to go to reactions and raise your hand, definitely Christine will call on you or look for any questions. But in the interest of time and whatnot, if we have you a couple more minutes talking about Bitcoin, NFTs, and your involvement there, because I noticed you have some involvement in pieces there.
That's a great point, and that was totally inadvertent. So, a lot of people may have been reading the news about Beeple, whose name is Mike. He actually sold his art for $69 million. So I was actually inside of Clubhouse on the same stage with him as that auction was closing, and I, in real time, got to experience the price jumping from like 20 million, 40 million, 60, $69 million that his art sold for. And to be able to, in real time, to experience the electricity in the room is something that could have never happened on any other platform, because of, once again, just how organic it is, and the fact that almost everyone can be involved in the conversation. So cryptocurrency is been really dynamic. A lot more people are trying to acquire real estate through cryptocurrency. A lot of people are trying to figure out how to put real estate on the blockchain, especially title, because that's going to make things a little bit interesting. The real estate industry is changing. It's always going to change, and I think a lot of people that um, see technology as being like disruptive, they just don't really understand technology. Technology is about innovation. It's not about disruption. And innovation is going to happen whether people like it or not. And then those that just don't stay up to date on what's happening, they're going to get left behind, as we've seen time and time again. So as an industry, if we can keep each other up to date on technology and share best practices, then we can ensure that we flourish and that we're providing our clients with the best service. As opposed to some agents, I think they just kind of have checked it in, and they may be taking things for granted. And then when things do shift and then they do change, now instead of having agency and saying, here are the things that I could have done to make sure that I was best positioned to be prepared for this moment in time, they're just blaming on external factors. Oh, this company did this, took me out of my business, displaced me, displaced that. That's not the people on this call, CRS, that's not what we're about. We've always been about education. We've always about pushing the envelope, making sure that we're staying on the cutting edge. And which is why I'm so passionate about making sure that I'm on this call to keep people involved. I know for a fact that Clubhouse has made people 6 figures, 7 figures. I've seen it in real time. Does that mean that if you go into Clubhouse, it's going to happen to you? Nothing is guaranteed, but at least now you have the opportunity.
Yeah, it's all about relationships. It looks like Marie, you have a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay. Hi, nice to meet you, William.
Hello.
So I don't know anything about Clubhouse. That's why I'm here. I appreciate you sharing with us. My biggest question is I'm already stressed about the amount of time I have to spend on social media to begin with. And then all of a sudden now I've got Clubhouse. How much time do you find yourself spending across social media, and how does Clubhouse incorporate? I mean, it sounds like you're on there a lot. And how do you make that happen and then do your regular business at the same time?
So luckily I had a team, and my team still handles the day-to-day operations. But in terms of like my actual real estate business, in my mind, it made more sense to over-index on Clubhouse and then not focus as much on the day-to-day sales. In the idea that later on that's going to double back, and then I'm going to be able to then have the connections and the network to have much more value in terms of the growth of my company. And hey, Kurt, it's great to see you. We actually also met at a at a CRS conference. So like the longest that I've spent on Clubhouse was 24 hours. And there was one week I had spent 18 hours in Clubhouse. But at the same time, how many times are you going to have an opportunity to share a stage with Grant Cardone, with Damon John, with all of these incredible change makers? I've literally been on stage with billionaires. I was on stage with the CEO of Air Asia, Air Asia, the CEO of Air Asia. I was on stage with the youngest Indian billionaire. Um, like it's just absolutely incredible that the connections you can make. One of my goals that I told out loud to my real estate team a couple years ago is that I wanted to be a real estate broker for EDM DJs. EDM stands for electronic dance music. It's a musical genre that I really like. And these DJs, they're basically really growing in popularity, and then they're buying really luxurious houses. But the thing is, I'm just very passionate about the music, and because I'm passionate about the music, I said out loud, I want to be able to help these DJs buy houses. It's a BHAG, big hairy audacious goal. And at the time, like I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just knew I was going to do it. Through Clubhouse, I became friends with one of the top DJs in the world, and because now we're friends, I found out that he was going to buy a house a week before the pandemic hit. The pandemic hit, he didn't buy that house. And then now, within the next year or so, I'm going to help him buy a house in Los Angeles. And like his price range is like $4 million, which in Los Angeles is definitely above the average sales price. So if you told me, William, use this app and then you're gonna have like your dream bucket list come true of helping one of the most famous DJs in the world buy their home in Los Angeles, I would have said like, what? But it happened. We actualized it. We were able to, through community building, through positivity, through energy, be able to, and it sounds weird, I know, like I don't believe it myself sometimes. I got to shake my head, like it's so surreal. Am I in a dream? But it's happening, and it's happened. So how much time should you spend? My best advice is to time block. Don't spend more time than you can afford. Some people I know, they just leave it running in the background like a podcast and have a little notepad next to them, so then they can take notes. They'll pop up on stage when they have a specific question or to get like a more detailed answer on something that someone may have said. But for you, just determine how much time that you want to spend on it. I know that for some people, this has replaced real estate coaching, even though it's probably better as a supplement to it because you don't get accountability. With Clubhouse, it's audio only. There's no one that's going to keep you accountable, and that's why most people pay for coaching, whether it's real estate coaching or any other type of coaching. So how much time should you spend? Wholly up to you. Um, don't spend more time than you can afford because you do still have a business to maintain. Don't think that because you use Clubhouse, it's going to be a magic silver bullet and all this business is going to come in. But I can tell you that the things that you're going to learn and adopt and actually execute in your business practice, it is going to make you more efficient. It's going to give you better results. We've heard at this point dozens and dozens of cases where people have adopted and executed what they've learned, and they've really like improved their real estate business. But the keyword being execution. Whereas we have a ton of people that come through that ask questions. We hear questions over and over again when we have these rooms, these panels, and a lot of the people are not executing. So it's like the same thing as conferences. If you just go and then you don't execute, it doesn't really help out that much.
Yeah, it's amazing too to learn. People will share their other markets, and it's a great conversation point with your sellers or buyers just about what's going on around the country too. It's been amazing. We're all, a lot of us are in whatever market we're in, kind of a crazy market. It's not just us. So I also learned a great tip from Glenda, who's an Atlanta broker, and she said something in a multiple offer situation. She just basically gave an offer to a seller, meaning it was her buyer that she was representing, and said, write up your dream offer and then have so that was a unique thing I'd never really heard of. So a little out of the box thinking too. So some strategies are pretty interesting. Anyway, anybody have any more questions? Kurt, thank you for joining. Hey, Greg, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, especially today, William. That was very insightful. And I want to also just quickly thank Lisa for inviting me, not only to come on board, but also to give me access to this new medium. So the question I have is, since I've started doing it, how do I focus more in on the real estate portion of it? I'm getting quite a bit of peripheral notifications, and I'm constantly looking at it. And I've had some really good engagements, non-real estate. So there's some benefits there, but I really would like to keep my focus right now, being new to Clubhouse, on real estate. So how do I more define and target the message for real estate? Thank you, William.
Absolutely, Greg. I appreciate the question. So one thing is that you can actually turn notifications off. That will definitely reduce all of the notifications. But you can also, in your settings, which you can access by tapping your picture in the top right, toggle the frequency at which you receive notifications. So by default, it's set to like average, but then you can set it to infrequent or very infrequent, and you're going to get less notifications. In terms of like focusing, hyper focusing on real estate content, it's going to be determined by who it is that you follow. So if you follow people that are inside of the real estate space, follow the real estate clubs, that's going to really dial things in. But at the same time, there's so much intersectionality right now of different industries that it makes sense to check out different things. For example, through Clubhouse, I met one guy, his name is David Silliman. He's really amazing in the opportunity zone space. So by having his knowledge in the opportunity zone, by having the real estate portion with the Real Estate Networking Club, and then now by having cryptocurrency and blockchain people, we're basically trying to figure out how people who have made a lot of money in cryptocurrency, now they have massive capital gains tax exposure. So one way to shelter that is actually to put that into opportunity zones. So let's say you're in a real estate, either as an agent or developer. In this case, we'll say agent. Now you match these cryptocurrency investors. Now they're going to take their money, put it into opportunity zones, potentially pair it with a developer that you know. And then now instead of selling one house, you're selling 100 units. So the scale of things is just accelerating very quickly. The potential is really near limitless. So follow the people if you're really focused in real estate that are in real estate. Just really dial that portion in. Just yesterday, we had Rod Cleve, who's very strong in the multifamily space, come in and just basically announce that he's really trying to figure out how to educate realtors, real estate agents and brokers on real estate investing. So when they do talk to investors, they're much more knowledgeable. And on top of that, like let's say you're in single family now, instead of selling one property for $800,000, maybe you help an investor buy a 10-unit property for $8 million or $5 million. So now with a similar amount of work, because you have more knowledge, you're able to generate much more income. So once again, a lot of amazing stuff. We've had Dean Jackson come in, Joe Stump, both amazing thought leaders in the real estate marketing space come through. We have a long list of moderators, each and every single person I appreciate who's contributed and added a ton of value to the space. I don't want to spend, because literally it's like 2-3 dozen names, but check out the Real Estate Networking Club, come in, you'll see these people, absolutely amazing people. I co-sign each and every one of them for just their expertise and knowledge. And like Nora, she comes in, she gives us a lot of really solid background on the real estate industry, best practices, code of ethics. So Greg, the best thing I can do is just follow the people that are in real estate that are giving knowledge that you feel is applicable to you, your journey, and your business.
Thank you very much.
Greg. William, it's already 12:31 and it is late for you. It's in the middle of the night. So I want to honor your time. And I just thank you so much for, 3 weeks ago saying absolutely, not even a hesitation. Matter of fact, by the way, everyone, he automatically got right back to me on Facebook DM. It was pretty impressive. At first I thought it was a bot, but it was not a bot. It was you. So thanks so much, Will. I really so appreciate your contribution, what you're doing on Clubhouse, and also for coming on board with us here for CRS. So thank you.
Yes, thank you
Yes,
so much.
absolutely.
It was really, really amazing, and I think just, on the other side, there is so much about real estate, but there's so many other parts if you want to learn more about veganism or, I plug into a lot of personal growth stuff and get just super inspired. It's been really, it's been an amazing, place to pop into. And I see it kind of as no coincidence. Every room I've been in, there's been some reason I feel like I've been there. And it's just been amazing. So thank you again, William. Thank you, Nora, for organizing this today. It was a
everyone.
great, great, great Mastermind Monday, the purest form, really learning from each other and being the rising tide that lifts all boats. So safe travels back to US, William. We look forward to running into you, maybe like Lake Tahoe at Celebration, we hope,
Absolutely.
in August. Yeah. And next week, just so you know, Monica Newbuyer is going to be on, and she's going to be talking about how we can use the disc profiling to work better with our clients and even our spouses and family members. So look forward to that. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks so much, Will.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate everyone.
We appreciate you.